45 years ago, one of the leading voices for social justice, for peace, for equality, for dignity was assassinated. The late Archbishop Oscar Romero had become the voice of a nation at war, a voice of peace, a voice for the poor. He spoke out against the incredible injustices that were occurring, and for that, he gave his life. Today, we're joined by Mercedes Lopez Peña, Consul General of El Salvador, my dear friend Carlos Vacareno, Executive Director of SALEF and President of the LA San Salvador Sister City Association. Also joined by Sandra Rosato, Executive Director of Clínica Romero, located on Alvarado, right at the border of the 1st and 13th District. Mr. President, we're celebrating the life of an incredibly great man who was the moral voice against injustice. It was a time of incredible unrest and turbulence. It was a time in which the young men and women, families in Central America, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Guatemala, throughout the region were searching for peace. There were civil wars that were common, and there were those rare voices who spoke up in defense of the poor. Monsignor Oscar Romero has been recognized internationally and was a recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts. But on March 24th, 1980, an assassin killed him, but did not kill his voice. We are here today to make sure that his voice remains constant, ever vigilant over the conflicts that exist in that region and in our world, who speaks up for those who aspire to be free and to live a life, who aspire to be free and to live a life with dignity and respect. At his funeral, hundreds of thousands of mourners from around the world attended. And in 1997, Pope John Paul II bestowed the title of Servant of God, and the canonization process for Archbishop Romero to declare him a saint began. On February 3rd, 2015, he was declared a martyr by Pope Francis. The product of this civil war that took place in El Salvador and throughout the region, is that it created a diaspora of Salvadorans who could no longer live in their homeland. The Salvadorans began to appear in our city in the late 70s and the 80s and continued. Now they are integrated, part and parcel, not only of the 1st District, but the entire city. And so we welcome them here as they are pillars of our community. The Salvadoran community, along with all the Angelenos, recognize the importance of paying tribute to the life and the teachings of Archbishop Romero. And so I'm really honored to be here with you today. This is a time, an important time, March 22nd to 25th. We're going to declare the week of remembrance of the teachings of Archbishop Romero. But we should keep in mind that his teachings were for the poor. And the poor are part of all our societies, not just those who suffer through civil war, but those who live within a mile of this sacred hall. And there's poor throughout our city that need a voice, and that this council and this chamber should be a voice for those who are poor. And we should remember that it is our duty and our obligation to be that voice and to follow the teachings of the great Archbishop Romero.